So, what's up? You gotta ask yourself, why there was a time skip? There had to be a time skip. I had to actually rest. I had to make sure that the mornings I had to actually go through, okay? Pretty much that's how it is. Life forces you to actually sacrifice so that you can actually make a good thing about life. Okay? Just saying. Sometimes you gotta make good about life. Right. So, I was supposed to actually play a Combat Master at the moment when I stumbled upon a conversation between myself and a friend who I have invited my Discord server and has already been in there for a while. He's kind of an affiliate. He's kind of an associate of mine when it comes to the term of gaming at all. And when it comes to gaming conversations, I kind of talk to him. Like a lot. No, really. We even talk Pokemon, we even talk about the Pal World series, we talk about the Pal World title that's being bashed on by Pokemon fans just because the designs of the creatures are inspired from Pokemon. Well, that's going to be a real issue. I'm gonna say it. I'm just going to very much say it. That there is no issue when it comes to Pal World having inspired designs from Pokemon. I got no problem with that. Other people do. Other more sensitive people do. And those sensitive people don't have anything else to do in their life but whine about everything that they see. Making them sensitive to everything that they see in social media. Really, it sucks. What I was talking about earlier with my friend is Counter-Strike and other FPS games having cheating problems. What really makes a cheater? Actually, that's not the topic. The topic that we were having is what's better for Counter-Strike to do at the moment. CS2 has its own cheater problem, actually. Has its own cheater problem. People are using cheats just to have fun, ruining the fun for everybody else. Why? Because Valve's anti-cheat for CS2 is they don't do much to help themselves against cheaters. They don't help themselves against cheaters, and that harms the game. That definitely reduces the reputation of a game. And unfortunately, it is going to kill the game slowly. Even if Valve is going to make a hell of a lot of money out of keys and out of cases just for selling skins. Seriously. They're basically selling skins randomized by cases that they actually sell to every player. They're making a killing out of them because people like to have skins on their guns, after all. The thing is, what makes you believe that people... Okay. People have the right to profit out of stuff, but if it ruins the reputation of a company, why should you? It's a risk, right? Let's say you are selling cheats to bypass a game's code to actually cheat in multiplayer lobbies. Wouldn't that actually get you bashed? Well, that would get you bashed if the cheaters don't tell where they bought the cheats from. They can even get arrested themselves, or maybe they can just cut their own life in the effort of not telling anything to the authorities at all. They could do that to protect the cycle of cheating and profiting and buying cases when you have enough cash in your pocket. Really, if you're selling cheats to people just to have fun in the game and ruin the game for everybody else, the profits that you make go to selling skins, go to buying skins. Are you fucking joking, man? I heard from a friend that that's actually the usual cycle of cheaters. They try to get a better bragging point for their friends. Them. Really? Them. Like, what the I understand low, but that is a nut kicker Okay? That is a real nut kicker right there. What the f? You're ruining the game, then you make a profit out of it? Are you kidding me? You're lowest of the low, you piece of trash. Cheaters and hackers don't belong online. You, if you think you're actually making a good thing out of everything, okay? You, if you actually think that the likes of you exist, maybe you don't. Maybe you're not born as cheaters and hackers, but you chose to be because you wanted to make a quick buck, and that's it. You want to ruin everything else, and you wanted to make a quick buck. Go f yourself. I am telling you, you're going to ruin a game. Counter-Strike is a good game. Do not ruin it just by what you're doing. Do not ruin it just by the illegal activities that you're doing. You're using to bypass code you're not regularly supposed to even know. Okay? I understand that Counter-Strike is a game, but it's multiplayer. It's online. You're going to ruin the experience for every other person. Every other person who just likes to be a casual player. Are you joking? Go f yourself. Cheaters and hackers. Yeah, I'm saying it. Yeah. Cheaters and hackers can you. You're not a friend to me if you're doing that. You are not a friend to me. Let's just make that very, very clear. But enough about my rant. How serious is the cheating phenomenon? Why did it not stop, even if Counter-Strike had turned global offensive into CS2? Do I want to turn away from Counter-Strike just because of this? Do I want to? I came back to Counter-Strike to find things better. I am slowly improving. I do want to actually make it. I do want to actually make a mark in Counter-Strike and Valorant. So, why are you turning me away because of the cheating phenomenon? It's because it's making a game trash? Yeah, no, the thing is, the game is being played well, and the Steam charts really show that the player base is high. But the player base is also embedded by cheaters and hackers. Cheaters and hackers don't deserve to be in our community. They don't deserve to even play online at all. They don't even deserve a place to be in breathing space next to the people who are grinding the heck out of a game to make sure that their reputation is legitimate. Okay? I'm just saying. We want things to go legit. We want it to be all legit. Our reputation, the way it goes, okay? We want all of that to be like that. Anyway, this is a video called Counter-Strike's Cheating Phenomenon by Goldec. Now, we will see for ourselves how problematic the cheating phenomenon really is. And why it will not stop for the time being. It will not be stopping, I'm sure of it, yeah.
Cheating is a universally despised thing in most games, but there's no escaping it no matter what you play. Call of Duty, Valorant, even Minecraft. But there's one game that has continued to have the worst cheating problem than any other game out there. And yes, it's Counter-Strike. Why is it like that? Well, the history of Counter-Strike goes way deeper than any other game out there. What history have we forgotten, and are we doomed to repeat it? In this video, I've taken my time to research the stories about CS hacking that no one else talks about. The forgotten history of Counter-Strike cheats, cheating accusations, the weirdest Counter-Strike hacks, and much more. Before I can get to where we are now, I gotta start from the beginning. The year is... Two college students named Min Lee and Jess Cliff decided to create a mod for a game called Half-Life. It's a pretty obscure game, which you might not have heard of. Half-Life revolutionized PC gaming at the time mainly because of the Gold Source engine. Min Lee and Jess Cliff capitalized on this engine by creating the first iteration of Counter-Strike. At the time though, hacking or cheating wasn't really too popular. See, nowadays everyone is sweating their asses off. Meanwhile, back in 1999, people were just trying to have fun. This type of game was also brand new, so people were less concerned about finding new ways to exploit the game, and instead focusing on how to actually strategize and master it. The most competition you really had back back then was either heading to your friend's house to have a LAN party, or maybe playing in a LAN tournament. Although I wasn't even born back then, I think I'm getting the general idea of it. Most likely the only cheats in 1999 were just the console commands for the game, which of course you had to do SV_cheats14 and only admins could do that. These cheats only really included God mode and no clip. There was one notable exploit though at the time, which consisted of you changing your name to one of the following. Once you were killed, a long stream of words would show up instead of your name. Don't ask me why this happened because I don't really know. I'm sure there might have been some hacks back in 1999, but finding information regarding that is obviously pretty hard almost 24 years later. The first ever hacks for Counter-Strike came in the year... This was shortly after the official release of the game. This mainly consisted of trainers, which you might be familiar with if you've ever modded a game. Basically, it's just console cheats, but a little better. These will allow you to do things like have unlimited health, unlimited armor, unlimited ammo, one-hit kill.
See, this is what makes a game so bad, considering even if the game has high reputation, this is the dark side of the meaning of fun for players who don't understand the meaning of fun. No, you gotta understand that you gotta grind, you gotta practice, you gotta get this skill to be in an FPS game, not this. Using trainers. I saw my little sister use a trainer for Plants vs. Zombies. That's not fair. I just wish trainers do not exist, but they do. All for the sake of having fun. Of course, these would be the things that would turn into cheats later on, now being sold to those who can actually purchase it. And unfortunately, there are people who are going to purchase this just to make sure they have their own twisted sense of fun, and we would actually get ruined by it. The player base that's actually grinding to get better at a game gets ruined by people who are cheating the f*** out of it. I really hate it that this is what we get for being a loyal player in the game. I really hate it that this is how it's going to be. This is how things are returned to us. Really, I just hate it.
No reload, unlimited money, save position, load position, and restore position. I'm not too sure if these were able to be used in multiplayer, but assuming they were, I would count these as the first hacks. Now, the first ever real hacks that we all think about, like aimbot or wall hacks, would come in the year... The forum I checked for this dated all the way back to September 2001, but I saw some comments that said that there are hacks before this. I couldn't find anything myself, but I really wouldn't doubt it. Also, here in these forums are where I saw the first idea of HVH, or hacker versus...
Exactly. Cheaters are noobs. Entirely the biggest noobs ever.
Hacker.
I come from a time when I have to grind my... I don't have friends. I always go against bots when it comes to Counter-Strike. But that doesn't remove me from the point that I'm enjoying the games, that I'm enjoying the game regardless, okay? The bots make it difficult for me to actually take them down, but still, I'd actually take bots. I'd actually take bots better than players because first off, none of them cheat, none of them do the meta, but unfortunately today's players do meta. If not cheating, they do meta. They do strats. They do shit that makes sure that other humans can't beat them. Of course, I'm included as a human. I try to beat the noobs below me, but at the same time, I just try to practice. The thing is, I cannot practice enough before all the younger pros who are below the age of 31, myself, so they actually get better at a game, they get successful in the game. I got no hope in getting successful in this game because of the cheater and hacker that's happening.
Which I'll get to a bit later. Although I sadly can't find any footage for these hacks, it was listed as aimbot and wall hacks in Counter-Strike version 1.3, so you can just imagine it looks something like this. Assuming that in this 2001 1.3 era Counter-Strike, hackers did exist. Obviously something needed to be done about it. People were complaining in forums and Valve needed to do something. Jump forward to the year... In April 2002, Valve released their first version of the Valve anti-cheat, VAC1. VAC1 was a big hope for the CS community at the time. Finally, it would deal with these new hackers and cheaters and distribute 1 to 5 year bans. The bans weren't permanent back then for some reason. VAC1 wasn't so great at launch. Cheaters and hackers were still running rampant, even utilizing old cheats. VAC1 was then updated a bit and then it started working, swiftly banning cheaters and displaying them on a global cheater list. A major step backwards in this version of VAC though was when a huge wave of false bans happened allegedly due to faulty RAM sticks. See, VAC back then actually worked by reading directly to your memory to find the cheats, so whatever faulty RAM sticks that were being used must have set them off somehow. This was 2002, so of course something like this had to happen. Valve unbanned a bunch of players to hopefully unban these falsely banned accounts. In doing so, they also reset the global list of these banned accounts to avoid witch hunts to the other cheaters. VAC1 definitely worked at the time, but it didn't last long. Because VAC1 was only able to read players' RAM or memory, it didn't take long for hackers to find a way to avoid this system. Because hackers could avoid this, Valve created a VAC wallhack block, which basically constantly checked whether or not it's possible to see enemies from a player's point of view and then render them or not. I'm sure you can also assume what happened after this. Hacks kept getting better as they always do, and the amount of hackers also grew. New hacks also found a way to avoid this detection of the VAC1 system. The first person to actually publicly bypass
Hackers grow in number. Why do hackers grow in number? They like to be considered pirates. They like to be considered a good guy as well. You, if you think you're a good guy, go f yourself. Counter-Strike doesn't need any pirates. Go f yourself. I hope you ruin everyone's game. You ruin everyone's day. Period.
VAC1 was someone by the name of Jules. Information is a bit scarce on them, but an interview with Jules says they created a hack called CS Guard. Here's a few screenshots I could find of the hacks in action. Jules then went on to be what the cool kids call a white hat hacker, and he actually ended up creating anti-cheats. Hacks at the time of Counter-Strike 1.0 to 1.6 were very basic though. They never did anything too crazy and were mainly just wall hacks and aimbot. Now on to the next Counter-Strike, Counter-Strike Source. The first appearance of the brand new engine Valve was working on was actually on Counter-Strike Source instead of Half-Life 2, surprisingly. This engine was, of course, called the Source engine. At launch, there weren't a lot of hacks for Counter-Strike Source. Most of the hackers were still chilling on Counter-Strike 1.6. See, Counter-Strike Source wasn't exactly popular at launch to begin with, or ever lived up to 1.6. Most players stuck to 1.6, and the hacks or hackers just kept getting worse and worse. Even though CSS was not as popular as 1.6, that didn't stop hackers from creating hacks as soon as possible. February 2005, shortly after the release date of Counter-Strike Source, Valve had to release an updated version of their anti-cheat system, VAC2. This was supposed to be a better version and meant to stop hackers running rampant in CSS as well as CS 1.6, but VAC2 was effectively defeated soon after release. It seemed no matter what Valve did, hackers would always find a way to prevail. This is an all too common pattern within Counter-Strike or gaming in general. No matter what really happens, there's no stopping hackers. A quick
There's no stopping hackers because they believe to be the modern Jack Sparrow, giving the middle finger to the British Empire. You are not Jack Sparrow. You're scum. I hate cheaters. I hate hackers here. Sue me. I hate cheaters and hackers, and I'm threatening them too. Sue me. You won't. You won't. You won't even try.
Sidetrack to the types of hacks being developed during this year. A lot of these hacks were created for CS 1.6, and one I found cool was a LAN hack. If you wanted to seem cool at a LAN party or a LAN tournament, what these hacks would do is actually have sound cues instead of visual cues, so people next to you obviously wouldn't know. This would be things like announcing how many enemies are in your immediate vicinity, or if that wasn't enough, you could have a type of soft aim that just tracks players' movement and seems somewhat legit, although you can still get caught with these. I found this gem of a video of someone getting kicked out of a LAN party for cheating. The video definitely isn't real because you can literally hear this guy say wait for the camera, but still a product of the time. Throughout the years leading up to the release of CSGO, hackers kept hacking, of course, and I'm sure you can sense the pattern here, so I'll move on to something new. The eagerly anticipated new Counter-Strike game was finally released, Counter-Strike Global Offensive. CSGO was a real turning point for Counter-Strike as a whole. Not only did it attract new players who weren't too familiar with the older games, but it also released on console, which we don't talk about. Well, it was a new game, so hopefully there weren't too many hackers, so I wonder how long it took for the first hacks to come out. 2 days.
Bastards. You bastards. You really believe that you're the Jack Sparrow of your own universe? Well, you. Thinking that this would actually bring you happiness. No, it doesn't bring everyone else happiness. You. Cheats and hacks, go die, man. I hate this. I really hate the fact that cheaters and hackers exist just to try to give themselves their own sense of fun while ruining it for everyone else. Why do you think the grind is bad? I'm asking you, cheaters and hackers. Why do you think the grind is bad? It's not. That's what made me leave the game in the first place. Because of this. You make it impossible for me to actually play, man.
The first hacks for CSGO came out in 2 days. Right from the start, CSGO had a cheating problem. It was even so bad that Valve had to implement basically a second anti-cheat because VAC kind of sucks. In 2013, Valve introduced something called Overwatch into CSGO. If you don't know what that is, basically if someone got reported enough, someone could get their review of the demo and watch it and determine if they were hacking or not. If the player got enough votes to be hacking, they'd get game banned. Hackers were so prevalent in CSGO that you couldn't even escape them in professional matches. Infamous moments like Callie's jumping headshot during a pro tournament, followed up by a VAC ban a couple days later, is a good one to mention. Although the jumping headshot isn't exactly what got him, followed up by a VAC. The player got enough votes to be hacking, they'd get game banned. Hackers were so prevalent in CSGO that you couldn't even escape them in professional matches. Infamous moments like Callie's jumping headshot during a pro tournament, followed up by a VAC ban a couple days later, is
that is really hella suspicious to be doing a jumping headshot. Not even knowing at first that normally not a player does not know where a player would be, another player would be. He would have to be so lightning fast at that jump. He would have aimed his mouse so meticulously at such a time where reflex time is supposed to be non-existent for humans that he actually did it. We know that that is astronomically impossible. So yeah, that is hella suspicious. So yeah, professional gamer my ass, get I don't care what happened to him after that. I hope he really gets so bad he never comes back. Tell me in the comments. Just tell me in the comments. I want to know what the heck happened to him.
Is a good one to mention. Although the jumping headshot isn't exactly what got him banned, because another pro player named Flusha would do shots that were arguably way more sus than the jumping shot from Cali.
Be right back. I'm back. I just had to take a call. Anyway. Let's just continue. I forgot where my train of thought was.
But he was somehow never VAC banned. Another player named Emilio got VAC banned mid-game.
Did Emilio just get VAC banned?
Later is a good one to mention. Although the jumping headshot isn't exactly what got him banned, because another pro player named Flusha would do shots that were arguably way more sus than the jumping shot from Cali, but he was somehow never VAC banned.
Maybe he's definitely a good player because he's been grinding for years. If he wasn't VAC banned at all, especially after this, holy shit, an incredible amount of skill. Incredible amounts of skill can happen in a very small percentage of players. Okay? Very small percentage, unless they really dedicated themselves to actually make sure that their shit's really in the proper place and they have been training hard for this. My God, if this guy wasn't VAC banned after this, like ever, it would be amazing. Well, I don't want to know right now. So, yeah, we'll continue.
Another player named Emilio got VAC banned mid-game.
Did Emilio just get VAC banned? What?
And also in 2018, another professional player named
Yeah, this guy, Forsaken, I've heard of this one. Optic India. He's representing a professional sports team, a professional esports team. He doesn't care. He just does what he does. Multiplayer games. even goes all the way to China just to try and get something done for Optic India. Maybe he tries to cheat for himself too, try to make more reputation, but it's caught by the organizers of the tournaments. And got Optic India to dissolve its players going into other teams or going solo. I don't know. Cheaters and hackers ruin the fun and the experience for everyone else. This is what I'm saying. What Forsaken has done has ruined the experience for other players. But even if those other players did get the experience ruined, they get back up to go legit on professional esports. They play the game the way they're supposed to, and definitely they will prosper. Optic India's Forsaken. Yeah, he can go f*** himself. I just hope he really doesn't come back to the internet, man.
Forsaken got caught hacking mid-tournament, and he tried to hide these hacks by naming them Word.exe. So why are there so many hackers in CSGO? Well, not only is it super easy to cheat in CSGO, but it's also very easy to get away with it. Hell, there are even ways that cheaters have found out to get unvac banned, even receiving formal apologies from Valve employees themselves. Like I said, no matter what Valve really did, hackers would always find a way around it. The likely thing that happened with CSGO cheats is that most of the cheaters and hackers from CS 1.6 actually ended up moving to CSGO. So not only was there a massive player base for CSGO that included people wanting to cheat, but the source code of the game also got leaked, which basically means if you knew what you were doing, you could reverse engineer your hacks into pretty much anything.
The work of pirates. I hate pirates. One thing they can do is definitely hack into the game's code and definitely do more to the player base like this. I'm not taking it back. Cheaters and hackers don't deserve our love. Heck, for the times that they've ruined the experience for us, I hope in their entire life, their experience is ruined with everything else that they play. Every other game that they play. I hope they don't resurface again, man. It ruined things for me. You deserve all the coming from me.
Most hackers you'll see in game though are usually trying to play it off using soft aim, wall hacks, movement hacks, or something of the like that isn't too obvious. But there's also a subset of cheaters called rage cheaters. This is when you'll see a player blatantly cheating by shooting through walls or spin botting. The community of these so-called rage cheaters branched off from these other toxic cheaters, and this is the thing I mentioned earlier called HVH or hacker versus hacker. These are the hackers that really just hack for fun and don't want to ruin the actual game for others. I asked some people that are involved in the community some questions about it, and the community for it goes really deep as well. I might even just make a dedicated video for it. There are probably upwards of around 100,000 active members in the HVH community.
Excuse me? Excuse me? How many HVH? Oh my god. What the f? We got way too many pirates in the world. What the f? Everyone who's played CSGO and cheated on CSGO, every hacker who's played on CSGO will be migrating to CS2. They've already migrated to CS2. That's what I'm thinking. 100,000. Oh my god! This is bad! This is... I can't believe I'm saying this. This is so bad! How can Valve allow this? How can Valve allow this circle to exist? What is this? This is Valve not doing enough! This is Valve definitely not doing enough! What the f... man? Look at this! Look at this! Are you... To think that I would actually try to make a mark in CS2? This is going to turn me away for a long while. This is going to even make me uninstall CS2. Hopefully I don't, because I want to not go anywhere so soon. But this right here is not. If this is real, I don't know. Let's just continue. Okay?
All trying to use the craziest cheats they can use to beat one another. There are some insane cheat clients out there as well. One such client is one called GameSense. Some people will pay up to $400 just to get access to this cheat. At one point, it was considered the most safe cheat out there, but not so much anymore. There are some insane hacks for HVH out there, but some cool ones is a hack that would just crash the server you're playing on, and if the server crashed, then there's no Overwatch demo to review. There's also a server lagger, which would of course lag the entire server and eventually get everyone to cooldown. Also, when I say cool hack, I don't mean like I condone it. It's just pretty interesting. Despite CS,
these ruin a game. These hackers ruin an entire game. This is gonna make me reevaluate what I think about Counter-Strike. Valve, you don't have your shit together, man. You don't have your shit together here. Go f yourself, Valve. Go f yourself.
CSGO being so popular now, the HVH scene has somewhat died down. Most people don't really care about HVH anymore, and these servers are vacant. I'm sure there are still some tight-knit HVH communities out there, but as a whole, it's definitely not at its peak anymore. With all we've learned about Counter-Strike hacking, what can we expect for Counter-Strike 2? Well, if you were listening to what I've been saying, there will always be hackers. CS2 will hopefully make it harder for hackers and cheaters to exist, but considering how easy it was for the other Counter-Strike games to get hacks, CS2 will be no different. There will also not be an Overwatch system like in CSGO, and it'll instead fully rely on the new VAC system, which will hopefully be better than the other versions. There's also a new thing called VAC Live, which will now end a match if someone is detected of cheating, which of course was a much needed feature. Over the 24 years that Counter-Strike has existed, so have the cheaters. As for the psychology of all this, who knows? Maybe they do it for fun, maybe they do it to ruin people's day.
No, they do it for all of it. They try to make a buck, they try to have fun for themselves and ruining it for other players, probably to despise the world. Oh my god, their usernames are even so stupidly embarrassing. Oh my god. I don't know what the heck I was saying, but what the hell? I'm going to stop this. I am going to stop this right now. I'm going to be subscribing to Goldec because, first off, this is a good video. I did not know that there would be a video like this cheating phenomenon, something like this, so simple. Thank you for at least making it this so simple. I'm making sure that Goldec is added as also one of my Discord servers. One of the notable users that people could watch in my Discord server. So I'm gonna make sure that I do add him for this. Amazing video. Thank you very much, Goldec. It was amazing that you had to make this. You opened my eyes. I hope Counter-Strike does recover.